Hi there. Big news just came out today when HBO made its first official casting announcement for the Game of Thrones prequel TV series, House of the Dragon, through an article in Entertainment Weekly. And in that article, there was another piece of information that we hadn't heard before, that House of the Dragon has added a new writer to its staff, Sara Lee Hess. And I'm really excited about this because were you to describe the hypothetical antithesis of David Benioff, it's her, on several points. She is an experienced writer who has worked on many major TV shows from Deadwood to House to Orange is the New Black. Point two, she has production experience. She was the lead producer on Orange is the New Black, and she even won a Producers Guild of America award. That she knows how production works, and that no, we can't build fully realized sets of everything. Someone has to build that, which became a major problem by the end of Game of Thrones when they were just throwing money at the wall. And on top of that, remember how they just openly joke, oh yeah, we don't know how to run a TV show in terms of the physical logistics of it. They go, ha ha ha, in season 1 we didn't even know how to coordinate with the costume department, like basic stuff where no, this is frightening that you don't even know how to coordinate this, and you're still a noob to it even by season 8 because you don't want to learn. In contrast, she's a major producer. Point 3, she is, gasp, a woman writer. Sorry, we were so excited when they announced the first writers on House of the Dragon that we had more than, not only one female writer, more than one, that we had Claire Keishel, who was a writer on Netflix's The OA and HBO's Watchmen, which just won awards, great for her, and Ty Mickle, who has been a personal assistant to George R. R. Martin himself for some years. So, gasp, more than one woman. Gasp, more than one writer? Wait, there's an actual full writing staff on this show? Sorry, it's just so many other major Emmy-level shows like Mad Men or Breaking Bad. You have 10 to 12 writers having full meetings per season. And Benioff and Weiss micromanaged everything, and they really spelled it out at Austin Film Fest, the infamous interview they gave last year, that they said HBO was pressuring us to hire professional writers, well-known professional big-name writers, and we fought them and refused, basically because real writers would have made them look bad. That they weren't real writers, didn't have screenwriting degrees or know how any of that worked. They faked their way into it and then excluded all of the real professionals, all the real experts, because anyone would have, at best, outshone them and at worst told the world how incompetent they were, that these aren't real writers. And what they're asking, like, well, let's have Arya kill the Night King as a flippant last-minute decision. You're a crazy person. That there was no discussion. Discussion between who? Benioff and Weiss, Benioff and Cogman. Cogman is a lackey. He's a promoted-up coffee boy because he was a good sycophant and a yes-man. That Benioff would just walk in one day and say, guess what, we're having the Sansa rape, or guess what, let's make Daenerys evil, or Arya kill the Night King. There was no professional-level discussion, and this whole show was a monument to the attempt of celebrity culture and media hype to overcome expertise. And particularly at Austin Film Fest, they were directly confronted in the Q&A, infamously, like, you haven't had a female writer in 5 years. That's a record for an Emmy-level show, and you don't have any non-white writers. And they just gave this flippant response, we knew we were best for it. Now, I'm not trying to be an SJW on this or promote, oh, it's got to be good because it's a woman, but, I seriously think a woman would have dug in her heels and fought them over. No, we are not randomly putting a Sansa rape in. We are not having the women in Dorne talk like this. That these are David Benioff's sex fantasies. He said in videos, oh man, Dorne is my Brazil. It's like Carnival there all the time. And it's just, you have warped views on what Brazil is like. Or in the later seasons when they just have Sansa talk sternly and say, look how powerful she is. And no, in terms of narrative agency, she isn't doing anything. She did nothing to defeat Ramsay. She did nothing to defeat Littlefinger. But that was even more blatant, where it's, wait, what happened? She didn't trick him. Nothing is happening. And then, oh, but she's the queen now at the end of season 8 because she asked her brother to be queen. That isn't a narrative arc. She didn't have political agency. So Sara Lee Hess is a professional writer with production experience who is a woman, which is great. It's the fact that you haven't had this for so long is insulting. On top of that, she is point 4. She is a non-white woman. She is Korean American. And that's another thing that the fact, again, it's the fact that HBO is doing so much value signaling when they go on the red carpet and say, oh, no, we love diversity so much. And it's your flagship show is run by 2 white guys. And you have very little diversity behind the scenes. And I don't think that automatically makes a show great, but you're asking us to praise you for something you're actually not that good at in terms of your staff diversity on your lead show. And they'll go, oh, no, but this other obscure one-shot drama we had a really diverse background. It wasn't your flagship show. You're actually pretty bad compared to other networks in that respect, and you don't care. And you still want us to praise you, that bizarre doublethink in that sense. So, writer, producer, woman, non-white. And point 5, Sara Lee Hess is openly gay and married to another woman, and they have a child together, who they conceived through IVF, and that she carried. And again, Game of Thrones really let down its LGBT representation. I'm talking about like how much they marginalized Loras relative to the rest of what he did in the books. Or how they just fetishized, hey, let's have Ilaria Sand kissing Yara Greyjoy. Like, this isn't diversity. I mean, relative to the books it's based on. And there are gay characters in the Dance of the Dragons, and like Jane Eyre. So in all of these respects, it's not that she's diverse, therefore she'll be good. I'm more concerned about the fact that she's an experienced writer. It's just the icing on the cake that this is like a giant screw you to everything Benioff was ignoring. And why aren't you praising me? Because you're a privileged white male millionaire son, and you ticked off, you made all the black characters like Grey Worm rampage like savages through King's Landing, and it was so tone deaf, and then they wondered, why don't black viewers like us anymore? This is really character assassination, or the way you dealt with Daenerys, you just says, oh, a woman in power is crazy. All these other things that Sara Lee Hess sounds like the exact opposite of David Benioff in every respect. I mean, she's even won an NAACP award for her writing on Orange is the New Black. That specifically, she wrote an episode of Deadwood back in 2005. Then she moved on to the medical drama House, which she worked on for 7 years and wrote 17 episodes on personally. But then her big claim to fame is she moved on to the Netflix breakout hit Orange is the New Black, where she personally wrote 8 episodes and was also the lead producer. So she's a person who deals with actually, making things. In terms of HBO, at first it said she was attached as a writer to the Long Night prequel, Blood Moon. But increasingly, I think it sounds like she never actually worked on it. It sounds like they were lining her up for the first season that never happened. Because it says that in February of 2019, she signed an exclusive 2-year development deal with HBO. And by that point, they were already doing location scouting and set construction on Blood Moon for the pilot. So the timing doesn't match up. She couldn't possibly have contributed to the script for that pilot. I think they just got her on for season 1. As you hire writers to work at your network and under package deals and then assign them to things. I'd ask about this in an interview. Did you ever actually work on that, or was it just lining you up to work on it? But okay, now she's signed up to do the Game of Thrones prequel, which is shifted to be House of the Dragon. I'm fine with it. I don't think she was actually on Blood Moon. The timing doesn't work. The interviews I've actually been able to find about Sara Lee Hess, I found 2 that were both in gay news things like After Ellen, because they're about Orange is the New Black and LGBT stuff. So a bit about her background personally. Let's see. It says here, quote, I like that she said this, Actually, my joke is that I might be the least gay woman in the room, in the writer's room. I mean, straight girls these days, right? We do have an extremely gay-friendly staff, and maybe I made some small anecdotal contributions, like talking about my friends who refuse to date straight women, and skipping a bit, lately, because there really is this, gay for the stay, situational sexuality phenomenon in prison, which is real, and they talk about it in the book. There's a tendency for writers, including me, to start shipping everyone. The let's have characters fall in love as a way of creating tension. And even though she is the gay writer in the room, she said, I actually found myself defending the straight characters more. That it turns out sometimes straight people really are just straight. So she isn't, if you think, it's a stereotype of, she's this gay writer who's going to be making gay characters for the sake of gay characters. On Orange is the New Black, a show famous for its LGBT diversity, she was the one saying, guys, it's a spectrum which goes both ways, meaning that some characters are pure straight, and you shouldn't just say that everyone's gay like that, or like the trans character isn't. The trans character identifies as a woman, not something in between. For that specific character, that you can't just say, well, everyone's a little gay in prison. Some of them need to be straight. You can't just ship everyone for fun. That you have to be true to the character and true to the situation. So I feel very relieved that she said that. If I'm not just doing this for fun, it has to be faithful to it. Because again, there are gay characters in House of the Dragon. I'd like them to show Jane Eyre and a couple of other people that present them well. Because the main show screwed that up a lot, and it's not that this is the most important element to me, but among the many painful failures of the show, that how are you doing this in this atmosphere, in this day and age, being this much of Benioff would act like his whole, I'm a crass frat boy, look how confident I am, that whole routine, and then he doesn't care about other people. It's just these are exceptional cases. It really highlights that he doesn't even care about like Stannis and stuff. That he doesn't pause to think, wow, I am presenting women very badly. I am really underserving gay characters in this, or black people, when I literally killed off the only black woman on the entire show in a very stupid manner, stuffing her in the fridge, basically. That I hope other people don't do that. That Benioff, I think that if Benioff were allowed to write The Dance of the Dragons as a TV show, there's a non-zero chance that he'd randomly kill off Nettles, the Black Dragon writer, just for fun, or to be interesting. That this is the opposite of that. I'm pretty sure Nettles will not be killed off within the second season because of this, or randomly raped. Well, second interview, Sarah explained that she is actually married to another woman named Talia Osteen. I'm not sure why in some interviews they say she's Sara Lee Hess. Lee doesn't seem to be a maiden name. In fact, I've seen a lot of interviews on YouTube now where she just introduces herself as I'm Sarah Hess without the Lee in there. I don't know what that's from, but it's not a maiden name thing, apparently. She has a son with her wife who they conceived through IVF, and they don't want to know genetically because they think they're both his mom. They feel that way, so they don't want to know that. And I'm reading through my notes here. Talia is a musician, and living up to the U-Haul stereotype, Sarah and her wife moved in with each other 3 months after they first met and got engaged on their second anniversary, their 2-year anniversary. I went to college in the Boston area, and I had a lot of friends who went to women's colleges, all women's colleges, so I had a lot of friends through the science fiction convention circuit who were, one friend was a pure lesbian, not bi, but lesbian, who is a close family friend who is married to another woman now, and they went to Wellesley. And there were points like at family events, at parties, or at a wedding, at something where she would explain to me, yeah, it's a thing that my community has, that it's a problem, that we're frustrated by it, that there's a lot of women coming here who think I'm going to be trendy and have a fling with another woman just because I'm in college, but they're not seriously trying to date me. But I'm a woman who wants to seek another woman who wants to settle down with me and have a family. And there's so many of these just, they're doing it for fun or to signal stuff. And what Sarah herself is saying in this interview, that, straight girls these days, right? Jokingly pretending, having a gay fling just for the hell of it. No, this is a serious lived experience that people have. And what Sarah's saying in this interview of, like, I have gay friends who are scared to date straight or bi people because we know you're straight and just this is a fling. I also have friends who are close family friends who are bisexual and feel bad that no one wants to date me because they think I'm going to abandon them. So I've known a lot of people from my college experiences and stuff, and I myself am a heterosexual white male and cisgendered, and I feel bad about when people feel marginalized like this. Still, I get what she's saying about the trendy gay dating thing, and she was trying to say on Orange is the New Black that we can't just make a character gay to be trendy. That is going to be an identity, it's with a fling, just for a story arc. They make it like their identity or don't. Don't just change things for the sake of changing things. Be true to the characters. So I felt encouraged by all this, like I said. And in her other interview, on top of all this other stuff, Sara Hess is a breast cancer survivor. She was diagnosed a few months before her wedding. She had a single mastectomy. Just all this other stuff with women's issues and stuff, that just how insensitive Benioff and Weiss were to the mere idea of women having their own identity. One of the things that really frustrated me, just going through excerpts from that new interview book, Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon, is they were talking about Ross, the prostitute they invented for season 1. And at the time, remember how people were praising, oh no, they're caring about sex workers. They invented a prostitute character to make a recurring character. In this new set of interviews, they explain they kept her around because they thought she looked great naked and was willing to do nude shots even in freezing cold. It's really uncomfortable. She performed very well in it, but it's the point where they said they didn't think to give her a name. That Martin sent them a note saying, you have this prostitute in so many season 1 episodes, why didn't you bother to think out that she has a name or characterization? So at the time, everyone was treating it like, that really says a lot about how they think of women, that just, it was a nameless body to them. How many times in the show did they just make up yet another prostitute? And I'm pretty sure other people had to think up names for them. That they're minor characters. They don't exist. I'm only caring about the major ones. So just all of these points, that she is a massively experienced writer who's been on Deadwood, who's been on House, who was a major producer on Orange is the New Black. The production experience, that she is a Korean American, also through intermarriage. I have family members who are Korean ethnically, and I am not, but through marriage, family members. So she is non-white, she is openly gay, all of these other qualities, which were, and just, I know how writing works, and I've gotten awards for it, which were sorely lacking from what you saw from David Benioff at Austin Film Fest. And just, there are 3 women working on this show now. And I'm looking forward to, I'm optimistic about the future on this.